This tutorial looks at Instagram stories. While stories, or while this presentation and this tutorial is a very short tutorial, stories add a huge amount of functionality to your Instagram posts and to Instagram in general. I think most of us know exactly how a story works, and we're just going to have a look at a few of the features and of course a few of the characteristics of size and timing and so on of Instagram stories. So we're just going to kick off with what is a story for starters, and then we'll move into the specifics. So with an Instagram story, we have the possibility of posting a 15-second video or a 7-second photograph with added functionality for 24 hours. So this Instagram story will remain on your stories for 24 hours. The whole idea is it's meant to, for want of a bad term here, highlight what you're doing or what you're focusing on at this point in time. The reason I said highlight's a bad word there, because there is a function for us to highlight our stories, which means that we can actually pin them to our Instagram account for longer than 24 hours. So if you have a story that you think is really important or that you want to really put to the forefront of what you're trying to do, you can actually highlight it, and that means it will remain there indefinitely until you remove it. The influence of stories can't be overemphasized. I really want everyone to have a look at this and have a good think about what can be done and what should be done with stories. So for starters, like, the whole idea of this was originally to try and combat the whole idea of the time limit to do with Snapchat stories, etc. And the whole idea is that it will last for 24 hours. But with regards to a photograph or a video, you can add way more functionality than you could with just a normal Instagram post. So it's something that, that if there's something that you really want to push, or if there's something that you really want to highlight, this is the way to do it. The other thing is it's a slightly different setup than your other Instagram posts, in that, it will show your highlights and then other people's highlights. So it kind of the way it's presented is different than normal, we'll say. Okay, the maximum length of an Instagram story video is 15 seconds. Now, after saying that, each individual video can be 15 seconds, but you can actually compile them together up to 1 hour worth of video. So it'll show you 15 seconds, so it'll be 60 by 4. Okay, so you can put in, we'll say, 240 videos at 15 seconds each. And 7 seconds for a photograph. Now, what I just want to point out here is the fact that, for starters, the Instagram story takes over the entirety of your screen, whereas the Instagram post is normally a square image in the middle of it. Okay, so it takes over the entirety of your screen. So its dimensions are 9:16, and we'll say its resolution is 1080 by 1920. Now, you should use that, and you should use it carefully, because if you want to put forward an idea and you want to highlight that idea, it really is important that you put a little bit of time into creating this and making sure it works. Okay, and making sure that it actually achieves what you try to set out for it to do. Okay, and I said, even though it's a maximum of 15 seconds for a video, you can actually you can compile them. It says here unlimited numbers, but quite often you're looking at an hour's worth of video, which is substantial. Let's be honest. If you got somebody to tune into your video for an hour, the level of engagement would be very, very high. So keep that in mind. Just because you can compile them and stack them doesn't mean you should. So if you can do something in 15 seconds, you should get in and get out. Now, a couple of apps that allow you to Instagram itself will allow you to split videos, and so on will split videos for you. But there are other little apps out here, such as CutStory or InShot. And InShot is excellent and very, very simple to use, that not only allow you to split your video, but also allow you to edit your video while you're in there and add other elements to it. And a little bit more element than Instagram itself will allow you. Okay, what we're just going to have a quick look at here is how simple InShot is to use, and its functionality. So I'm just going to jump into InShot here, and I'm going to go to adding and creating a new video. Here's a number of videos I've already created or been working on, so I'm just going to add a new one, and it brings me into my library. I'm going to scroll down here till I find a video that I want to use here. So this is the one I'm going to select right now and here in a minute. So I'll just go and simply click on the link down here in the bottom. This is a mirror of obviously of my phone. So this is exactly the way my phone is working as I'm going down through it. So I'm just going to quickly play the video here. It's 1 minute and 8 seconds. So if this video is converted straight to our story, it will create 5 separate stories because it's over the minute long. So what I might do is I might trim it here a little bit. I might add a little bit of music, add a little bit of text. Then you can of course change filters and so on if you want to as well. So it's just literally a little trip on a jet ski across a glacier. Okay, so I'm just going to stop this here for the moment, and I'm going to say there's 34 seconds. Where I am, 34 seconds. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim this here. So that will, okay, so click here and then trim. Okay, split, cut. Okay, I'm after cutting off the end of it there, but I only cut it off at I'm going to cut it off around here. Okay, so I've got now I've got 35 seconds worth of video there. Okay, so I've just played this. All it is a very, very driving Miss Daisy little trip on a jet ski. So 35 seconds, okay? So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of music, add a little bit of text, and then, you know, you can play around with the filters and so on. It's very, very simple and straightforward to use, okay? It's just reconnecting to my phone here, so just give it a second here. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to add a little bit of music here by just clicking on music. Now you can add music which is already in the library, or you can, you know, I'm just going to go add tracks here, and you can see it gives you some to use already. So I'm just going to go to my music here for a second, and you know, I can choose something which might go well in the background, or you know, I'm just going to choose one here. I'm going to use just say Birds of Sorrow here and use that. Okay, now it puts it in like this, so I could just simply click on it and move it. All right, I obviously want to move it to the beginning of my, or fairly close to the beginning of my, I'm just clicking, holding and dragging, okay, fairly close to the beginning of my my video. So maybe I don't want it to start off right at the very beginning, but you'll see I can of course play around with this and fade it in if I want to. So I'm going to just press play here. And you can see how that works, okay? Just going to pause that for a second, right? I'm going to scroll to the very end of this. Now, obviously the piece of music is way longer than my 35 seconds. So what I'm going to do is just click on a piece of music and split it, okay? So what I've done there is I've split my piece of music. I'm going to click on this one, and then go delete, okay? So what I've done is I've just cut my music off at this point in time. Now, when I play the end of this, now it's quite abrupt. So what I can do is I can click on it, and then, you know, add effects. Okay, now effects could be anything from a sound effect, or in my case, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to edit it a little bit. So click on this and it will allow me to edit it. Now, it's 35 seconds long, and what I can do is fade out the last 6 or 7 seconds of it, okay? I can fade in if I want to, if I don't want to have the sound coming in abruptly at the beginning either. And I can drop down the volume if I want to have the music from my actual video over, you know, playing over it, okay? So now when I play the end of this here, I'll just bring it back a little bit here and then play the end of it. My music is faded out beforehand. So, and you can hear a silly old laugh before that as well. So I'm just scrolling down through my video here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to add a little bit of text, and I'm just going to add it right about here. Okay. So I'm going to add a little bit of text just up here around the top here, and you can add anything you want to this. So I'm just going to click on this. I was playing with the music here, so I'm just going to click on this little tag there to say I'm happy with my music now. And the next thing I'm going to add is a little bit of text. So when you add your text there, it'll actually give you a box there, and I'm just going to move that up here to the top and go top of the world. Okay, don't worry about the size of it for the moment. Okay, it's a little bit big for it, so I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. Okay, and let it appear there like that. Okay, you could even make it a bit smaller than that. Okay, now when I click on, of course, I can change my font size, I can change my font, I can change my color using all of these down along here. Okay, I can even bring a little bit of transition into it, which means that it fades in or fades out or zooms in and zooms out and so on. So I can play around with those. So it gives us a lot of functionality with regards to this. As well as that, you can see here that my my piece of text is going to run this long. I can actually just drag it in. So all right, so you can see exactly where it starts and where it will stop. Okay, so I'm going to say that's long enough. So I'm just going to go back to the beginning of my my clip and press play. If I want to make this longer, of course, I just simply drag it out like that. Okay. All right, so I can play around with this. I can add stickers. I can add lots of functionality here. Remember what you're trying to do. What is the aim of your actual story?
Another day, years too long. Feel like you can't make anything. Slowly
So that's my 35 seconds. I'm just going to save this. It asks you for the resolution or the quality. Okay, I'm just going to go the middle one here for the moment. As you can see, it's converting my video. And it's going to share it on Instagram. Now, once you get into Instagram, it still allows you a number of functions that you can add here as well. So you can add more to it if you want to, but InShot allows you a little bit more control over the whole thing than the previous one. So I can share it on my story and share it away and done, and it's as simple as that. Okay, so you know, if I go in there, I can just see, you know, that's my first post, and I can go on from there. Okay. But it's very, very simple to use and to share and to work with what we're trying to do there. So that's just simply adding an in-shot video, editing it and adding it to your, as you can see there, adding it to your, you can see it up here on top, I've got 3, adding it to your Instagram stories, okay? And of course, if you want to save this for indefinitely, you just simply click highlight and so on, and that will highlight it, okay? And there's my in-shot video, okay? Now, obviously, there's a little watermark here in the bottom, in-shot in the bottom, okay? But you can see how simple it works and how simple it is, okay? So my advice would be always to think about what you're going to do with this, and to think about what you can do, and think about the added functionality. And, you know, as I said about an Instagram post in the previous tutorial, is have a single focus for a post, and the same with your story. Have a single focus for your story. If you have 2 or 3 stories you want to put out in a day, that's fine. But make sure that they don't take away from one another, and make sure you don't get the messages muddled. So it's very, very important that we understand the added functionality that the story will add, and we achieve our goals by using them properly.